You are the Hong Kong Minister of Magic. You just received a secret owl. The parchment informed you that a new danger might be forming. Your father called your colleagues and is heading towards the conference room.
I'm sure you received my owl. The Muggle minister had been concerned about the issue of air pollution for the past decade, but we had never taken any action.
The Environmental Office has been highly concerned about this issue, yet our world believed that magic could solve the problem, which I disagree with.
Humans tend to overestimate their power. There are many causes of air pollution. Minister, what should we address first? The Shakucha Incinerator Project? The impact of the incinerator includes air pollutant, emission of greenhouse gases. Incinerator emit air pollutant such as carbon monoxide, particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, etc. Apart from those air pollutants, incinerators also would emit greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide. The air pollution would further lead to public health problems such as cancer and respiratory disease, and the greenhouse gases trap the heat from the sun and will lead to global warming. If it's that harmful, why don't we just seize them all? Merlin, what's the purpose of the meeting? I'm busy, you know.
We could invent packaging that is biodegradable and order all industries to use these packaging.
There must be a lot of opposing voices. The cost of investing in these biodegradable packaging is expensive.
Oh yes, we don't teach environmental topics at school. We could include environmental conservation topics into the current education system. Though the process might take some time, education could deal with the root cause and has a long-term effect. An air pollutant emission symbol? To consider if the product could be incinerated or not, we can focus on the emission of carbon monoxide when the product is incinerated, because the current and new incinerators didn't clearly mention the treatment method for CO.
What should be the standard for determining whether the product is harmful or not? We can't just make up random numbers. If we're considering carbon monoxide, products that emit over 10 mg per cubic meter of carbon monoxide will be prohibited to be incinerated. This number is set by the Muggle EU. It is the limit value of carbon monoxide for the protection of human health.
We could use a tick or a cross to indicate if the product should be incinerated or not. This?
Great, but I think it looks a little too plain.
So the air pollutant emission symbol includes two elements, the tick or the cross indicating if the product can be incinerated, the number indicating the level of air pollutant emitted during the production process.
Using a level to indicate the air pollution emitted might be more easily understood by the citizens. I remembered the Muggle world got something called the energy label. The label indicates the energy efficiency of a product, which helps to raise awareness on saving energy and guides consumers to buy suitable products.
Excellent. I'm astonished by our ability to think like a normal human.
Sarcastic would be unnecessary, General. For easy understanding, we could divide it into 3 levels. Level 1 indicating the lowest emission, and Level 3 indicating the highest. Level 1 and 2 passed the standard while Level 3 failed. We can place the symbols on the packaging of the products, and consumers can evaluate the product before purchasing.
Very boring
Sorry
minutes
to
later.
interrupt, but I have to remind you that we need to draft an indicator for different levels as well. Suppose that you're still capable of utilizing your brain from the overwhelming information. Very informative indeed. I think we could use the data of the local annual aggregate energy consumption and the sum of the emission of pollutant of that year as a ratio, and then use the energy consumption of the product to deduce it.
Seems workable. We can use the emission of producing 1 kg of plastic as a benchmark, which is 2.80 times 10 over negative 5 tons, because plastic is a commonly used material in products.
Fantastic. I got a formula ready. If you don't mind, please enter my memory.
the pollutants emitted by the energy consumption during the production process, we first have to collect three kinds of data. The sum of tons of emission of sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and respirable suspended particulates, RSP, in the local power plants where the factories are located, national aggregated energy consumption of the region that the factory is located, and also energy consumption during production of 1 kg of the product. Divide the sum of tons of emission of pollutants by the national aggregated energy consumption to get the emission of pollutants per energy consumption. We'll be using the amount of sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and RSP as they are the main pollutants emitted by energy generation. We'll then find the pollutants emitted by the production by multiplying the emission of pollutants per energy consumption with energy consumed during the production of 1 kg of the product. Let's take a look at the example of the production of 1 kg of plastic in a factory in Hong Kong. We'll be using the data in 2012. We need to collect the free data, the sum of tons of emission of pollutants in Hong Kong per year, which we can get by adding the emission of sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and RSP per year, and we can get the number 57,000 tons. Then, we need the aggregated energy consumption, which is 43,000 gigawatts hours. Converting it back to the scale we use in our calculations, we get 1.548 times 10 to the 11th power metric joules. Then we find out the energy used to produce 1 kilograms of plastic, which is 76 metric joules. After getting all the data needed, all we need to do is putting the data into equations. By defining the sum of tons of emission of pollutants, 57,000 tons, by the national aggregated energy consumption, 1.548 times 10 to the 11th power metric joules, we get the emission of pollutants per energy consumption, 3.68 times 10 to the negative 7th power tons per metric joules. Then we can find the pollutants emitted by the production of the plastic by multiplying the emission pollutants per energy consumption, 3.68 times 10 to the negative 7 power tons per metric joule. With energy consumed during the production of 1 kg of the plastic, 76 metric joules, which will get 2.80 times 10 to the negative 5 power ton. It might be a bit hard to understand, but using the free data collected, we can deduce the data we need for determining the level we would allocate to the product with this equation. Now returning to the ranges of levels of air pollutants emitted during the production process. We use the emission of producing 1 kg of plastic as the benchmark, because plastic is a commonly used material in products. If the emission of the production per kilogram is lower than 2.80 times 10 to the negative 5 power tons, the product will get a level 1. If the emission of the production is higher than 2.80 times 10 to the negative 5 power tons, but lower than 5.6 times 10 to the negative 5 power tons, which is double the number, the product will get a level 2. If the emission of the production is higher than 5.60 times 10 to the negative 5 power tons, then the product will get a level 3.
This thoroughly showed the amazing ability of their mathematical skills.
General, please.
The policy will be the most welcomed by the environmental sector. We could cooperate with them to raise public awareness.
General public sector, the acceptance of the energy label was quite smooth. The implementation of the label would not affect their daily lives or their purchasing experience. Consumers could have more options and could reflect their preference through purchasing power. They could choose to support producers that emit fewer air pollutants and support greener producers. Therefore, I believe that the opposing voice would not be huge.
How about you, General?
Producers, I think some would be rather displeased as they have to put in more effort. If they help to establish a green image to the public, the production factor cost would increase and the profit would decrease accordingly. Though some might feel welcome as they could promote their brand by labeling themselves as environmentally friendly to attract customers.
I agree. I believe this won't cause too much trouble to the producers, as many of them have to include nutrition labels or safety labels on their packages. The additional symbols should not create too much inconvenience for them. I think our meeting could end here. Secretary, do you mind wrapping it up?
Oh, of course not. For the implementation, there are 3 steps. First is the assessment by officers. We determine the level of emission by the use of officers to record data and use equations to measure. Then officers analyze the material used in the products, seeing how incinerable it is. The next step is to submit a report to EPD, the Environmental Protection Department, for approval. A symbol will be allocated when the assessment is completed. The symbol would need to be printed on the packagings of the product to notify consumers. Finally, the process would be renewed every 2 years to confirm the product and the symbol matches.